right, guys, I have got a couple of knives here that I am super excited to share with you. Probably more excited than I've been since, I don't know, my large F3, Curtis F3. Like that's the level I'm at here. In fact, I'll share with you a little confession. I went home a little bit early today and took an early lunch just so I could be at the house waiting when the post lady brought these in the driveway. And as she was pulling up, you know, I had a couple of packages being delivered. I went outside and met her in the driveway so I could get these in my hands. I am so excited. You have no idea. So I'm going to try to take a breath, calm myself a little bit, and work my way through these in a reasonable fashion. For those of you who are still wondering, what we have here is the AD15 and the AD10. Honestly, I think these are two of the best things that ColdSteel has done. There are only two other ColdSteels I would even try to compare, and I've got them actually here for comparison. So that's the knives we're going to be taking a look at. Let me move the boxes out of the way and bring in the knives. First off, there is the AD10. What a beautiful design. Andrew Demco design, absolutely fantastic. 3D machined G10 here. Nice heavy duty blade stock and triad lock bar there. Hollow grind on this blade, and I was not expecting that. Someone maybe can comment down below whether or not the custom AD10 has a hollow grind or not. The other thing I have to comment on in terms of a first impression is the smoothness of this triad lock. It is perfect. The only other ColdSteel I've gotten with a lock that good is the Formax. And, you know, for $300 and change, you expect that level of perfection. Honestly, for 140 bucks or maybe even 100, you could get these from Massdrop for 120, which is nuts. Anyway, for that price, you know, I would forgive if there was a little bit of lock stick or, you know, it wasn't total precision, total perfection, but it is. It is really good. I just cannot get over how well done this is and how refined it is. Honestly, you know, ColdSteel is not a company I associate with refinedness, but with refinedness. I'm pretty sure that's not a word. Anyway, there it is. I cannot get over this knife. I really can't. I'm just, every time I pick it up and every time I unlock it, and you know, I just am blown away by how good this is. Now, of course, if you don't like big knives, if you don't like heavy knives, you're not going to like this. But if you have any tolerance at all for larger knives, you are going to love the AD10. It is fantastic. I'll talk about it more when I sort of do an overall summary at the end. Let's go ahead and get out the AD15. This, of course, is based on the Andrew Demco custom AD15, and I've had one of these. In fact, the one that I had, the custom version or the mid-tech version, whatever you want to call it, had the same colors as this one, although it didn't have, I don't think, the same pattern on the G10. This feels very similar in hand. The jimping is a little bit sharper. The spring tension on the Scorpion lock is just a little higher, but it's already, and you can see it's not quite as drop shut as the custom, but it's already getting better as I play around with this. And I'm not going to try to do it here on camera, but I will oil these pivots with a little bit of KPL and let you know how that goes. So we have here, I'll be a little more formal with this one, guys. Okay, so we've got S35VN on the blade, same blade steel, by the way, on the AD10, S35VN. This one has a flat grind, all right. Blade stock looks pretty similar. When I get to the full review on each of these, I will have measured that blade stock and measured behind the edge and be able to talk to you about all that the way I normally do. But again, like the AD15, really well balanced blade, beautifully finished with that grinder satin, two directions. So we've got, you know, the grinder satin going this way here on the bevel, and then on the flats it goes this way. Really creates an attractive finish on that blade. Moving down here, we have the Scorpion lock, and check this out, guys. Just catch it, there you go. Phosphor bronze washers in there. Do you recall that the custom AD15 head Teflon. I am super happy to see phosphor bronze washers here. Obviously, there are some differences. This Scorpion lock bar is made of aluminum rather than titanium. The spring tension, as I mentioned, was just a little bit higher, and the way this lock works, it doesn't have, on some of the customs, there's a secondary lock here that you can use. All right, movable clip. And this highly textured, although it's just a slab of G10, it is heavily textured. And this is a pretty highly textured knife. It feels good in hand, but this one is going to be one that tears up your pockets. And let me tell you, I don't even care. Okay, so now that I've given you kind of a quick rundown on the two of these, I'll reiterate my comment on the quality. I cannot get over how well done these really are. Just, you know, and presumably that will hold up over time. Obviously, I'll be able to tell you that when we get to a full review. Let me grab size and weight on these two before I move on to the next part of the discussion. I want to bring in the Formax and the Recon One here for a second, which are, you know, on my short list of very, very favorite cold steel knives. So let's start with the AD10 since we kind of started with that one earlier. Let's see, what do we got here? So we've got, looks like about 8 7/8 inches overall. Let me do a double check. I'm just going to go off screen here for 1 second. Yeah, so 9 7/8 overall. On the blade length, we've got 3 and, looks like 3 5/8. I'm trying to make sure I'm at the highest point there. So just a hair under 3 5/8. Closed length is going to be 5 and, looks like 5/16 maybe. Yeah, 5 5/16 is the closed length there. Now this is wide, okay? So almost 2 inches wide. Definitely going to be a bit of a pocket hog. By the way, obviously you can see this clip is specifically designed for this side of the knife, so there is a second clip that ships in the box with this. One other thing is to grab the weight. The box lists it at 6.9 ounces, so we'll see if that holds true. Hey, 6.84 ounces, a little under the advertised, which is not usual. I don't know, let's see. So the box lists 8 3/4 and 3.5 inches there, which, you know, I guess is pretty standard. So yeah, 6.8 ounces, that's not a lightweight knife, but I don't know, guys, it just feels right to me. It does not feel overly heavy. It's going to be heavier, of course, than the Recon One. I'll bring that in now just so you can have an idea. Many people are very, very familiar with the Recon One. You can see they're fairly close in size. I have to tell you, I love the way the Recon One feels in hand. This is substantially different. It is definitely much more comfortable. All right, so let me pull this guy out of the way. Let's grab size and weight on the AD15. Again, what does the box say? Box says 6.5 ounces, 3.5 inches, 8.5 inches. So let's take a quick measurement here and see if that is right. Okay, so you can see not quite 8 3/4 inches. Blade length there is going to be 3 and almost 3/4, just a little over 11/16. Handle length. Now, notice the handle length will include the blade tang there. So I guess we'll call it closed length really rather than handle length. Is going to be 5 1/8. I should quickly grab grip area. You guys always want to know about that. So grip area here, 3 3/4 inches on the AD15. And what do we got on the AD10? Yeah, 3 3/4 on both of these basically. So they're very, very close in size. Okay, so let me do a little quick comparison here between a couple of other cold steels. And by the way, I think this will become a full video. So this, I mean, you know, this is just sort of an early impression, but there is a Recon One for you. And you can see many similarities. A little more cutting edge on the Recon 1, obviously more aggressive jimping. The Recon 1 feels really nice in hand, and I've often commented on how nice it feels, but this is perfect, right? This is one of the most comfortable knives I have ever felt. To the point that, this could be, you could make this into a fixed blade and have it as a fantastic, bushcraft style knife. Now let's bring in the AD15 here. So once again, you can see the Recon has some differences. Both of these have a flat grind as opposed to the hollow grind on the AD15, or I mean on the AD10. Now this one is a little more squared off. So here I will say the Recon 1 is a little more comfortable in hand than the AD15. Both are quite good. I'm really not going to complain about those. Let's pull the Recon 1 out of there and bring in my other favorite ColdSteel. I may have to back the camera off a little bit for this one. Now it's going to just barely fit. So there is the Formax. Of course, higher end materials on the Formax, 20 CV steel, titanium liners. Not so much different in terms of overall fit and finish and refinement. And I've got to say, guys, this is where I have to really make a point here. I've had tons and tons of ColdSteels, and they're always functional, but they're not always what I would call the most refined knives, where the fit and finish isn't always perfect. And frankly, from ColdSteel, I don't need them to be, because they're user knives. They absolutely are. But on the AD15 and the AD10, the fit and finish and the overall level of refinement is really, really high. Okay. Let's switch these guys out. These two are kind of, cousins or something. The designs are a little more similar. Both fantastic. And here I have to say, both of these is where you really see Andrew Demco's design language. I love Andrew Demco designs, and that's why I like these so much. Not only that, but just the construction and the cutting ability and the feel in hand. I mean, I could go on and on and on. So I think I should probably wrap things up there. I would love to know, guys, which one you like best. Now, let me give you my overall impressions on these two knives. First thing I have to say is the cool factor, the level of interest, the geek out kind of, wow, that's awesome, definitely goes to the AD15, because the Scorpion lock is one of the coolest locks that has come around in the knife industry in recent years. I like this a lot better than, nothing stands out to me as really being impressive as the Scorpion lock that I can think of at all, right? A frame lock, yeah, I'll give Chris Reeve the frame lock for sure. It's every bit as good. The Triad lock is fantastic, but the cool factor here, I think you have to give it to the AD15. Now, if you want a knife that is going to be one of the best users imaginable, right? And this is from any number. I guess we have one more thing to say about these guys, and that is the value. The quality on these, I honestly expected ColdSteel to come in with these are closer to $200. This is $140 and this is $160. I'm pretty sure that's accurate. $139 and $159. You could recently get them on Massdrop, and I'll go check Massdrop if I can find, well, I'll put the Massdrop link, and what you have to do is go and request those drops to happen again, because they are all filled up. But for $120, this is unbelievable. It really is. And I think this one was like $10 more, so it'd be $130. That's an insane deal and a huge win for Massdrop, and an even bigger win for all of us as consumers. So the value, I think, on both of these is off the charts, right? Now, let me now finally, after my value comment, come back to my overall impressions. So if you want to carry a knife that is just ready for the hardest tasks you could think of, that's going to cut all day, that's going to be super comfortable, then the AD10, I think, is the knife for you. Not to mention, it's still a beautiful design. I love the look of this knife. But if you want to max out the cool factor, okay, if you want something that's more about form, okay, and maybe sacrifices a little bit of function, although very little, then the AD15 is a great option. I mean, this is such a cool lock. Absolutely my favorite lock in the knife industry. The Scorpion lock, I love the way these look. I absolutely do. And I can't wait to see, I can't wait to see what other models we might get with this lock. I can't wait to see the customization options, different handle scales, different anodization. This is aluminum, so you could anodize it various different colors. I would say this has got to be one of the coolest knives in the ColdSteel lineup. And this has got to be one of the most usable knives in the ColdSteel lineup. The only detraction that I could see here is the size and weight. Okay, some people are going to be put off by, 6.5 ounces or 6.8 ounces. And you know what? We forgot to measure this one in my excitement. You guys should have reminded me. I never did give you a weight for the AD15. 6.58. So, while they're a little under on the AD10, they're just a little over on the AD15. Let me shut that off. Listen, guys, both of these are extremely well done. I cannot believe the level of quality that ColdSteel has achieved here. As I say, they're not perfect. It's not like an actual Andrew Demco custom or something, but they are really, really good. I'm blown away by both of these knives. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'd love to hear your comments down below. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we will talk to you soon.